Some moments in life are really quiet. They don't show up with a big explosion, but with a simple choice. And sometimes that choice is to say nothing at all. Today, we're going to dive into a story about one of those moments, a single moment of silence that ended up stretching across an entire lifetime, leaving behind a lesson written in pure regret. Let's explore what that silence really cost. And this, right here, this is the heart of the whole story. It's told by a man looking way, way back, and it just perfectly captures that tricky spot we've all been in, right? That feeling of knowing you should do something, but still thinking, I've got time. Time's on my side. It's a story built on that really dangerous idea that there will always, always be a next time. Okay, so let's set the scene. We're in a family business, the kind of place where work and family are all tangled up together. But then a decision gets made that just creates this crack in the foundation. It ends up pitting a father against his son, and it traps our narrator, the other son, right smack in the middle. So this slide just lays out how impossible the situation really was. What you gotta understand is that the narrator isn't just watching from the sidelines. He's right at the center of it all. He sees that his father's judgment is off, and he can feel his brother's pain. He's the one person who could have validated Arun, who could have been his ally. And that imbalance is what sets the whole thing up for the big moment to come. And this is where everything just slows way down. All the family drama, all the business arguments, it all boils down to a single, quiet look between two brothers. Wow, what a question. It's so direct, isn't it? So vulnerable. Arun isn't looking to start a fight. He's just asking for the truth, from the one person he trusts more than anyone. He is literally putting his entire sense of fairness right into his older brother's hands. And that's the choice, right there. In his head, the narrator told himself that silence was the smart move, that it would keep the peace. But he would learn, the hard way, that this wasn't peace. It was a verdict. And in that silence, his brother didn't hear peace. He heard betrayal. So what happened after that silence? It wasn't some loud, dramatic explosion. No, it was something much, much quieter and way more permanent. It was a lifetime of distance. This is the immediate fallout. I mean, the relationship isn't completely destroyed, but it's changed forever. That easygoing warmth, that trust, that thing you can't even put into words between siblings, it just vanished. And it never really came back. And this timeline just shows you the slow, creeping tragedy of it all. It wasn't one bad day, it was like 1,000 little paper cuts over decades. They still act like family, right? They share meals, go to events, but the real connection, the heart-to-heart stuff, gone. And that promise of next time, of I'll fix it later, it just becomes a lie you tell yourself, a little mirage that keeps getting further and further away. So here's the real kicker. It's this change in his own mind, something he only understood after decades of regret. The excuse he used when he was young, oh, silence will keep the peace, it gets replaced by this brutal adult truth. It was just the easiest way out. It was a quiet and absolutely devastating betrayal. And so the story jumps forward decades to the place all stories eventually end up. That next time our narrator was always waiting for, well, it never came. Not in the way he hoped anyway. Instead, it arrived at the very last second. Can you just imagine the weight of those words, held inside for a lifetime, finally coming out when it's almost certain they can't even be heard? He says everything he should have said back in that shop. You were right. I should have said something. I am so sorry I let you stand there alone. This is such a powerful way to think about regret. It's not this big, dramatic, movie-style breakdown. It's a constant, quiet ache. It's the empty seat at the table. It's the silence on a long walk. It just becomes a permanent part of your life, this little whisper that's always reminding you of what you didn't say. And this is where our narrator turns all that personal pain into something useful, a lesson for the rest of us. He's not telling the story to beat himself up anymore. He's trying to pass on a kind of inheritance, the wisdom that he paid for so, so dearly. So here's the first half of the lesson. Speaking up, being honest when it's tough. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It might lead to an argument, a difficult conversation, but that feeling, that discomfort, it goes away. And here's the other side of that coin. That temporary discomfort, it is nothing compared to the alternative. Because the weight of the words you didn't say, of a truth you didn't stand up for, that doesn't fade. That becomes a part of you, a weight you carry forever.
So the final takeaway isn't just some abstract lesson, it's a plea. He is urging us, all of us, to learn from his lifetime of regret. First, just think, who do you owe some honesty to? Second, forget about waiting for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist, it will never come. And finally, just speak now. Do it now while your words can still make a difference.
And that's the question this whole story leaves us with. It's a quiet question, but man, it's a heavy one. It's asking us to look at our own lives, our own relationships, and our own silences. Because time, as this story so painfully reminds us, doesn't always give us another chance.